If you don't know ATP, ATP is a very successful Swedish fashion brand that was built with actual strategy. They started with a single product, no outside capital, no hype, just a clear idea, a defined customer, and the discipline to stay focused. Myla also spent years behind some of Sweden's biggest fashion brands like Filipa K and TOTEME before launching ATP. And what she shares in this conversation is a clear blueprint for how to build something that actually lasts. We talked about how to define product DNA, how to grow without losing your identity, what real sustainability looks like in practice, not marketing, and why focus is the most underused tool in this industry. If you're building a brand and you're feeling overwhelmed or pulled in too many directions, this episode is going to help you refocus and reset.
Interesting. Okay, well, before we talk a little bit more about what's happening now and the differences from early days, still pinning back the conversation to early days of starting ATP. What in hindsight, like if you had to go through the process all over again, but with the understanding of today's fashion landscape, what would you do differently?
Oh, that's a really good and tricky question. And I'm not really a person that looks back, and I think that everything you do has a meaning, even the mistakes that you are doing. Sometimes, some days I feel like, oh, we should have been more bold. We should maybe have taken in more capital in the beginning. On the other hand, I said, no, I'm so happy that I didn't do that because that made us be able to take all this and that decisions. So no, I must say that I'm actually quite happy about what we did in the beginning because that made us independent. We could also learn from our own experiences in the beginning. So
Right.
I cannot find anything.
Okay. And like instead of asking what would have you done differently, I guess if you had to start over today, understanding the current environment and the differences in the industry, or the development of e-commerce, the development of social media, again, with your
Mm.
current understanding of the fashion landscape, how would you start this brand differently, strategically speaking?
Maybe I would
Like,
have.
would have there been a difference in categories and in
I
marketing strategy? Like, yeah.
maybe I would, because since my background was like product and also Jonas, the sales, wholesale is quite, I mean, it's a super complex part, but still we both had experience in it. But none of us had very big experience in e-commerce and all the digital landscape and how it worked. So maybe we would have had like a third partner or someone else that was very talented in this from the beginning, so we could have taken more advantages of like the early, how to say,
Yeah, like
gains
faster
you
decision
get when
making,
you're.
more, yeah.
I can see other companies that start as a D2C company a little bit later, of course, but in 2017, 18, it was everybody just started D2C. And most of them have, almost all of them have later added wholesale because it was impossible to make the brand awareness without having both parts. So I'm happy that we had both parts, but maybe I would have earlier strategically pushed more the e-com part to be even more independent.
Right.
Maybe, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
We
And
were
what
also
about
lucky too. We were born 2011, was the same year Instagram was like born as well, or the year before. So we were also lucky to be part of the Instagram like phase.
inception period?
Everything was like easy, you know. So we got a lot for free. Today it's much more difficult to start and just get discovered, as we were. We were discovered at Instagram by Netta Porter. Today, I think it's much tougher to do that, or at least it needs more money. But for us, it didn't cost anything. It just needed someone that believed in us, that posted on Instagram, and the people following that person saw it and said, "Okay, I trust this person. This is the brand I would like to have." Netta
Hmm.
Porter.
Interesting. And just as things have become much tougher in a lot of ways, what things do you think have become much easier since back then?
But the communication, of course, I mean, it is easier to reach
Yes.
out and to yes, and all the technique. Of course, it's much better today for sure.
Yeah, so basically what a kid can do with an iPhone today to share and connect with an audience is something that you needed an entire team to develop 10 years ago.
Yeah, you can say that, yes.
Mm. Okay. And what about the value proposition. So basically, do you think value proposition is something that is always consistent in terms of good product always work, or it's a combination of good product at the right time with the right market opportunity?
Yes. I for sure think that you need the product. If you don't have the product, I don't believe you can just market everything, because at the end of the day, someone has to buy that product. So I think the product is super, super important, and that can always be developed. But then, of course, the brand part, I would say, is the most. So it's product and brand. Those, if you have those two, you can add on communication, you can add on ads or marketing spend or
Marketing, traffic, all these.
stores, whatever you can add on. But if you have like the brand and the product, that is like the baseline to be able to start.
If this episode resonated with you, and if you're building a real brand, but growth still feels inconsistent, overwhelming, or just not to the scale your brand deserves, we're offering free one-on-one coaching calls. And this call will help you identify exactly what's getting in your way and what to do next. These calls are limited and application-based. So if you're serious, click the link in the description, fill out your form, book your call, and if we think we can help, we'll confirm your spot. Hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and see you on the next one.